means a whole lot of gas bagging from me and my small team, a little OH reporters, and we got a lot to get to today, including a couple of special guests. My name is Brian Skoronsky, and on today's podcast, you're going to hear from Mr. 600 himself, Dan Gorbett, the head coach for Colonel Crawford Baseball, is going to be joining the podcast in just a couple of minutes. We'll also have Sean Snow of the Ontario Lady Warriors Softball Club, maybe even get a couple of players. We're going to go out to practice with them. Also talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're going to be competing in postseason action this Saturday for the first time since the 90s without LeBron James. How are they going to do? We'll give you our predictions and also take you inside our thoughts on the Masters this past weekend and what we saw. But without further ado, let's talk to the OH reporters here in the building today. I've got Travis Brody and Hayden Gray hanging out. Gentlemen, it was a beautiful weekend. Easter Sunday, of course, yesterday. How did you spend it? Hayden, what'd you do?
Yeah, we went to a church service with my sister and brother-in-law, my niece, and then we ate dinner at my wife's family's, or lunch. And then went home and didn't rest. We did some stuff around the house, but it was a good day. It was very nice outside.
What was the main course at your lunch?
Ham.
Yeah, us too.
Ham.
Yeah.
Ham is the major thing on Easter, I think.
Yeah, I think so. It tends to go that way, I think.
Yeah. What about you, Trav? What was the highlight of your weekend? Let me ask it a little different.
Well, I guess the highlight would be covering the 600th victory for Coach Gorbett. I mean, not many coaches in the country can get the win number hit 600, so it's
Very
pretty
few.
cool getting down to Delaware and doing that. But my Easter Sunday was a little bit more relaxed. Didn't have anywhere to go. Didn't go back home because of work, which was fine. So I just relaxed and watched the Masters, and then did my taxes, which is not fun. But I'm not gonna go into that. But other than that, it was a relaxing Sunday. Watched the Masters, laid on the couch, took that little Masters nap in between, in the middle of the round. But
did Jim Nance put you right into the zone where you needed to be for a quick
friends.
crash, and then you woke up just for a frenetic finish?
Yeah, Jon Rahm was on a 9th green. I wake up, he's on a 14th green. So it was a nice little power nap. But it was a good Sunday overall until the whole tax thing in the evening. But I'll say a good 7 out of 10 for the day.
That's a heck of a day right there, buddy. It's hard to do much better than that. I got my taxes I'm going to be working on the next couple of nights, so definitely.
Get your taxes in the 18th. I think, is
Not
the
looking forward
tax
to
day.
it, but like Travis said, yeah, make sure you get them done. Or like our producer Adam Thompson, he's waving me off. He's like, man, I already asked for an extension. I got until October, so I don't know. I guess there's a couple different ways to look
he
at
has
this.
reasons, so.
Well, we're about 3 weeks here into spring sports now. Baseball and softball starting to heat up. You've seen a whole bunch of baseball so far, Hayden. So give me some of your best of the best. Let's start with the best team. Who have you seen so far that's really impressed that you think probably going to be in the mix for conference championship, and when the tournament gets into play, probably going to make a deep run too?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the KMAC conference in particular, especially with baseball teams. But I mean, the team that's impressed me the most was the team I saw my first game this year, and that was Fredericktown.
Yeah.
And I think we, knew it was no secret that the Freddies were going to be very good, returning a lot of talent. But so my small sample size of seeing one game where they took on Utica, not the strongest of opponents, but was very impressed just by the way they play. And it was a game where, a player that I think is one of the best in the area, Cade Carpenter, wasn't even super content with his performance. He had kind of a rocky first inning, and he was very open and honest about it in his interview after the game. It's definitely something I appreciate about that kid. He's never really settled until he gets and he's playing at that level he wants. But this team, they're well-rounded, they're well-coached. Travis, I know, didn't you say, I believe,
They
number
are the
one in the
number
state?
one team in the state, according to the coaches poll, the recent one. But yeah, that's not a surprise though. What they brought back, and that tough loss to Edison, where 5 runs scored on 5 errors, and then you see what happened. Edison goes to a state championship game and plays in extra innings before losing. You think, man, if Fredericktown doesn't commit those errors, maybe it's Cade Carpenter going up against Waynedale instead of Edison. But yeah, they're. That's probably a chip on their shoulder too, Hayden.
Yeah, I think it is. And, I mean, literally this was a non-conference game, but talking to Cade after the game, I said, what is this team's goal? I think we all kind of assume and know and make our expectations, but I wanted to hear it from the source. So I said, what's your goal for this season? What's this team's goal? And first and foremost, they want to win the KMAC again. And he said, he doesn't feel with the talent that they have that they should drop a single game. He thinks they should go undefeated. Particularly in the conference. So they've definitely got all the confidence in the world. They've got the play to back it. So they're definitely my team that I'm keeping an eye on. And I saw another KMAC team play on Saturday that also should be mentioned. That's Highland. They were super fundamentally sound. Watched them play Big Walnut and had a trio of pitchers combined to pitch a complete game shutout. Only gave up 2 hits, no errors. So they were just very, very fundamentally sound. I have not seen a team field and ground balls as well as they do and throw and get it to first and second with so much ease. So that's another team in the KMAC that I think could maybe try and give a little bit of a push to Fredericktown.
Actually, it's MOAC now.
Yeah, they just
That's right.
moved.
That's right.
But probably
still.
maybe the favorite in the MOAC, would you
along
say,
with
Travis?
Clear Fork. I think, you know what, we saw Clear Fork, that 9-inning game against Galleon. I saw them the next day against Ashland. They are a very good pitching as well. They have a lot of pitchers that can come in and replace. That's going to be a fun 2-game series there.
That whole league, it seems like about the top
always.
4 or 5 really competitive.
You got
and
Ontario,
even the bottom
you got,
feeders.
even Shelby, Pleasant, Harding
Galleon.
as well, River Valley, Galleon. Look at Galleon this year. There's a lot of teams that have a chance of making a district. Maybe a couple teams maybe move that, beyond that, since Highland's in the Central District, and then you have everybody else and a couple others. So, that's a great conference. Clear Fork, another team, like we said, really good. But that 2-game series with them and Highland, that's going to be one worth watching.
Individually, is there any one player that you've seen, Hayden, that you're like, man, this dude, absolute stud, and can carry a team? In baseball, a pitcher can do that kind of single-handedly. Have you seen one of those yet this season?
Yeah, for me, it's got to be Cade Carpenter. Remembering what he was able to do last year and then just seeing that talent translate over to this year. He's had another off season to develop, and I think that just because he has the ability to control a game, he's more than just a pitcher. He's such an athlete. Obviously pitching his strength, but he can be a guy that can come out and get you a home run. He homered in that first game that I was at. And he's a guy that can really turn around a game because he can get you quick 3 outs on the mound and then go right back around and get you a couple runs on a homer. So he is one of those guys that can control a game by himself if he needed to.
And he's just so big. He's grown a lot, I think, over these last couple of years. It's not just the height. He's about 6'6", but he's put on some mass. He's an unbelievable athlete. We've seen him 3 sports. He just kind of dominates no matter where he is. Baseball diamond, basketball court, and just the collection that they have, the senior class out there in Fredericktown, you can tell that they love one another. It's a close-knit group. I definitely think that you're going to see the Freddies, if not be the KMAC champions, have a deep run in postseason play. No question. All right, Trav, you've been more of our softball specialist here early on in the season. Who's some of the best right here in North Central Ohio?
Well, I got 2 teams, a third team, but we're going to talk to them. The Ontario Lady Warriors, I get shout out to them. They have a lot of power on their squad, so I can't wait to talk to Coach Snow about that here in a little bit. But 2 other teams I like, the Madison Lady Rams, a team that came back. They were down 7-2 going into the 6th inning against Ontario at home. You can watch that highlight on our Facebook and YouTube. But they scored 6 unanswered to walk off 8-7. I think this will be a preview of a district championship if both teams do what they're supposed to. Both teams have big pop. Both teams have the pitching. But Madison, they just really impressed me by the way they were able to recollect. It seemed like they were done, down 7-2. But then, Coach Nicewander, Tim Nicewander, he got the team together, rallied them together, and they pulled it out. So they have a really legit shot at doing some good things this season. And just looking at their record so far, knocked off Lexington twice, a team that beat them in the districts last year, beat Shelby, Ontario. They got a big one actually right now going on at Clear Fork, so that's another big non-conference matchup. But this team, they're going to be fighting with West Holmes, I think, for the OCC championship. West Holmes, that had to get rescheduled because West Holmes was on spring break last week, so you
got to live it up when you got the break,
right? Yeah, absolutely. So Madison, I think that's number 1, and number 2, a team that made it to the state Final Four despite moving up to Division III, the Hillsdale Lady Falcons. Their non-conference schedule is a meat grinder. They beat Colonel Crawford in the non-conference. They knocked off Ontario in a highlight that Hayden did, where they just it completely surprised me the way they were able to knock off Ontario the way they did. And then they went up to Keystone, and you and I saw Keystone against Madison a couple years ago. Keystone walked them off 3-2 in 8 innings. Then they go up in a back-to-back against Talmadge, another D2 squad, and they walked them off on a home run 8-7. So they're playing with the best, not only in D3, not only in D4, but they're competing with the best in D2. So this team has a legit shot at running, maybe running the table the rest of the way in the WCAL, and then playing one of those 3 districts in their district. That's broken up into 3 separate ones, and they'll probably have that matchup with Worcester Triway in a regional or a district championship. That's going to be one. They're rivals. I don't know if they're friendly rivals anymore, but those two. And one of the key pieces to that squad is Taylor Morgan, their starting pitcher. Not only can Taylor, get the big strikeout. I know she came in relief in the Colonel Crawford game and struck out 5 of the 8 batters she faced to get the save. And then against Chippewa, she just completely shut them down. Nearly had a no-hitter, only gave up 2 hits. But
yeah, she's a game.
Not only that, but then she can hit the ball.
Yeah.
She had a huge 3-run homer against Ontario. She had a couple big RBI against Chippewa as well. And that lineup, you have 3 big boppers in Belle Doughton, Lacey Huber, who's, last year we saw her hit that big bases clearing double against Ashland in the Wendy's. She's a young player, but she's really gotten better over the summer. And then you have Taylor Morgan as well. So a big lineup, that 3-4-5. You have a couple players, J.C. Sermulius and Molly Goon at the top of the order that can just slap and get on base. And then you have those power hitters. They have a complete lineup. They have good defense, and they have pitching. So look out for them.
And if you're playing at Hillsdale, the expectation every single year is state Final Four or bust, and they openly admit that. This season, I think, even goes beyond that exception because the entire roster pretty much is back from a squad that had huge aspirations last year, as they do every single season. So moving to Division III is so interesting because they might have to run into Triway, and that's actually a matchup that we could see at the Wendy's coming up here next week. So I know that Coach Ron Rock over at Triway, when they set that up, he was kind of like upset about it. Like, I don't want to have to see them.
And
if
Moore
I can
too.
avoid it.
Coach Moore on the other side was like, why do we have this already?
But definitely very interesting. So I think the softball here in this area, it really, really good, of course. And we've got some great teams, including the number 3 team that you included on that list there, the Ontario Lady
I didn't
Warriors.
mark them 1, 2, 3.
Well,
but
they're right there in that top 3.
They're in the top 3.
Trying to go back on his words now.
But I guess just given the head-to-heads, you almost have to put them at number 3. But it looks like we've got a bunch of them joining us right here now. Sean Snow, head coach, and a bunch of Lady Warriors. Let's send it out there to Ontario. What's going on, ladies? Hey, nice to see you guys. What's going on in practice out there? Did you guys, since it's nice out after the Easter weekend, did you take it a little bit easy, or are you guys dialed in? What's going on?
No, we're dialed in. We got a big game tomorrow. We ran polls. Always dialed in, yeah, for sure.
We just did hitting a defense. We worked on everything.
Yeah. But everything.
All right, Sean, I'm going to let you start here. Kind of describe the attitude of this team to me. You basically welcome everybody back from a season ago when you were MOAC champions. Do you feel like they're more businesslike, or is this kind of a fun-loving group that knows when to turn it on when they need to?
Well, I don't want to show my soft side, but as you can see, I have microphones on me. I think this group is getting along really well. We do not have a soft schedule. So to look at us being 4-3 right now, we haven't lost any slouches for sure. We just have to figure out to win those close games right now. They're very tight-knit. They're still getting along, as you can see. And, our expectations are high for sure. And, I think we're going to hopefully come out ready to, guns a-blazing tomorrow with Clear Fork.
Good answer.
It looks like a whole roster trying to take my job, Hayden's job, Travis's job. They all got the microphone hold down, so I can appreciate that. And I know Travis has been really impressed with the non-conference schedule that you've put together, Coach.
Yeah, Coach, I mean, you played Madison in that tough game, Hillsdale as well. You have Triway on your schedule, the Wendy's Classic. Just how important is it, not only through the MOAC where you have a couple teams at the top that you can compete with, but to have that good competition in the non-conference to get you guys ready for possibly a tournament run, maybe through district into a regional?
It's very important. I think playing good teams, great teams, Hillsdale definitely, they showed us, we did have a bad night for sure, but you can't have bad nights against teams like that. But those games make you better. And, like I said, we have to figure out how to win these games. And unfortunately, we did find out today Triway had to cancel for Saturday because they have to make up a league game. So we're trying to find a game for Saturday right now, unfortunately.
Describe the personality of this team to me, Coach. It looks like there's a lot of smiles. Obviously, you got a fun-loving group. Do you try to shape that a little bit, or does the personality of the team does that have to be completely organic how it comes together?
I think it's a combination of everything. I think I always crack the joke when you're a girls softball coach, you're more of a psychiatrist / lineup manager. These girls know how to play ball. They didn't come to us needing developed. These girls know how to play. So I think just trying to keep this atmosphere and, make these girls a group of sisters, and then learning to play together. That's our goal.
Yeah, let's hear from some of these seniors out here. I know you got your pitcher back, you got your catcher back. What were the expectations that you guys were talking about heading into the season? What metrics are you trying to meet to make sure that this is the type of year that you're expecting it to be?
We just gotta keep our emotions cool and make sure we lead by example, and we just come to practice, work hard every day, and we're serious when it's time to be serious, but we can still have fun while playing the game. So pretty much. Jocelyn.
Taylor.
Just as Kylie said, we're coming out having fun every day, knowing when we need to turn on the switch and win games and come out strong and play hard.
When you welcome back as much talent as you guys have, do you feel and now I got someone holding the microphone for me. This is great. You guys have really started a trend out here. Do you feel a little bit of added pressure? And if you do feel that, is that more of an exciting thing for you girls heading into each game, knowing that there's a little bit of a target on your back as a defending champs?
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on us. We have to step up and play our game. But we also just have to remind ourselves it is a game of mistakes and failures, and we just gotta, persevere through all of that. And we're glad.
I taught her that word, Brian.
Big one.
We're glad you worked at us because we wouldn't want anyone to give us not their 100%. So, yeah, that's it. Taylor?
Just Kylie said, everyone's giving us their 100%, so we're going to give them 100%. And just every game's going to be a competition, and we live for competition.
Jocelyn?
I like that everyone's coming out with us for their 100% because then it teaches us to play 100% too.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you learned great lessons early on in the season playing top competition and getting beat by teams like Hillsdale in the fashion that you do? And if so, what can you learn and benefit from when you have games like that?
Yeah, we do learn from it. I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember every question you asked there because you asked a lot.
It's boom.
Yeah.
But we do learn a lot. It sucks losing to these good teams because you wanna beat these good teams, but when we're losing by 1 run to all these great teams, state, regionals, they go pretty far in the tournament. So we just gotta learn to have confidence. Trust each other and continue to play hard every time. Okay. Do you remember the last half of that question?
We just need to learn from our mistakes.
Yeah, just learn.
I think we learn where we need to, and in those games we find our holes, we find our weaknesses, and we just persevere each game and learn from them.
Look at us.
Big words. We just need to get that last run.
We have great academics here, too, if you can't tell.
Yeah, clearly there's a lot of honor students in the group. This is great to hear from you all.
Yeah, pretty sad thing is their GPA is higher than mine ever was.
Yeah, Coach. So obviously trying to defend the title this year. What's it going to take, though? I know we've been even jumping a little ahead and thinking about tournament, but in 2023, what do the Ontario Lady Warriors need to do to take home a MOAC, knowing that right now towards the top there you got some tough competition with teams such as River Valley and Shelby? What do you ladies need to do to make sure that you're going to put yourself in a good position?
Let you answer that, Edie. What do we need to do? Oh, okay, Trista?
Okay, we need to stay away from errors and just learn from our mistakes. That we need to have confidence.
What do we need to do to win the MOAC?
Oh, Trista has something.
Trista.
We definitely need to not get ahead of ourselves, not be expecting a win. We need to work for it and work each and every day for it, and know that we need to work hard and continue to work hard.
Not take anyone lightly.
We need to play with some swagger. We gotta be confident and act like we own this field. Have that confidence. And bust open that can.
We cannot be too cocky. We need to be juiced before every single game.
Yeah.
Most importantly, play with the swagger.
Come on, Liv.
Play with the swagger.
There you go.
Yeah, a lot of swagger. You got to come out confident, but not too confident. I want to hear about some of the rituals of the team real quick. Who would you say has some interesting pregame traditions, or maybe in the dugout during the game?
Anybody?
We have a telescope.
Made out of McDonald's.
We like to copy our baseball team at a lot of the cheers that they do when it comes to, getting back at the base.
Back. Get back. Or if they throw a high pitch, you gotta say, somebody get her a bucket. Because she's throwing up.
That's a classic.
It's the same stuff. Yeah, I mean, this game is a game of superstition for sure. So they love, anything pre-game wise, we do it as a team, I think, more than anything. So,
And we also got our telescope.
There's our telescope out of McDonald's cups. I don't know why. That started the first scrimmage.
There you go. Yeah, radar guns, all of that.
Yeah.
Now, when you're looking through the telescope there, what are you looking for? Are you checking out the pitcher? Are you looking at the batter's box? What are you dialing in on?
That ball that's gone.
Yeah.
The ball that went over like 300 feet. Center field.
Mine went still going.
Yeah.
Is there any particular team snack that you guys always keep in the dugout?
Swedish gummy clusters.
Nerds gummy coasters. Yeah.
And a lot of seeds. There's a lot of seeds on this team, too.
Yeah.
Still pickle.
That's not
Gatorade.
pickle. Yeah.
Very nice. All right, guys. We've taken up way too much of your time. We appreciate you joining us. If you can give us like a quick cheer or like a rally cry that you typically would have in the dugout to send us off, give us your fave.
What is it?
One.
Like let's take this up here.
Yeah, give us a
Oh,
second.
better not do that one. I don't know. You guys tell us. Rally cry. 3.
Yeah.
Can run that way.
All right, get it
No,
up.
we're not ready.
That's what you get. Trust me. These girls have so many different things, but sometimes I wonder where they come from. So
Well, I tell you what, you ladies, you got us all jacked up for the rest of the show, so we appreciate you rallying us in to the second half. We'll try to be in top form just like the Lady Warriors. Suns out, guns out. Have a great afternoon, ladies, and Sean, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
all right, thanks. Have a good day, guys.
You too, man. Sean Snow and Ontario looking to defend their MOAC championship. Just about everybody back, and you can tell that's a fun, loving group, and that goes so far in spring sports when you have a dugout that's constantly like standing, cheering. It just when you keep everybody involved, you can see it in any sport, basketball, football. It just carries over. They clearly have it.
Confidence is everything. And this team, not only they have the players, they have the power, kind of like Hillsdale. They have players that can get on base, and then they have players that can knock it over the fence and bring them in.
All right, let's go ahead and get ready for our next guest now, who actually used to wear that very blue and gold not that long ago. And on Saturday afternoon, this gentleman just got his 600th career win. Woo! That's right, folks. 600. Not very many people in the history of the country have been able to do that on a high school baseball diamond. So can we please give a warm round of applause to Mr. 600 himself, Dan Gorbett.
Thank you.
Hey, what's going on, Dan? I know that you just arrived out at the field. You're in Kidron today, right?
Yes, yeah. It took us an hour 20, so we got about 10 minutes for pals, and then we got to take infield. So pretty tight schedule here.
All right, we'll try to keep it quick. What is it like on a bus ride for an hour and 20 minutes with your group this year? Describe that.
Well, we got a really good group. They're well behaved. I just heard you guys talking about Ontario softball, and we're the same way, where everybody's really supportive, and we've had a lot of away games for some reason, and they don't complain. They just get on the bus and have fun, play ball, and come back and have fun again. So it really hasn't been an issue.
Well, I know that you're right in the thick of your career now, but the 600 wins, have you thought much about like the legacy and what that really means, the longevity and what you've been able to do?
Well, when I lost my job at Galleon, I was at like 394 and thought, okay, I'll never reach 400. And then I was assistant coach in Ontario and then became the head coach there and got 400 and 500. And I retired, and Colonel Crawford pulled me back out onto the field. And now here I'm at 600. So there was a time where I thought 400 wasn't going to happen. And just like that, I'm at 600.
Well, you've been able to turn Colonel Crawford back into a powerhouse. You did the same thing at Galleon. What would you say it takes to really build a winner, coach, and get a program on the level with sustainability like you've been able to do time in and time out?
Well, you got to start really, with the kids and talking to them, getting them to believe in themselves, the concept of team first. You bring the parents into that conversation. So I think the important thing is that culture that you need to develop, and that's developed in the off-season, talking to kids, off-season workouts. There's not one special, thing you need to do. It's just, there's an old saying, kids don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I think there's a lot of truth in that statement.
Well, Travis, got to see you Saturday, pick up win number 600, and really impressed with the Eagles, right?
Oh, absolutely. Just, Hamilton out there on the mound pretty much did what he needed to do. But then the offense that you guys had, I wouldn't be surprised if every player reached base at least once. But that just seems like that's every Colonel Crawford team that I've seen over the past few years. Just the work ethic that they have in the offseason and now, just how much does that just pay into what they do now?
Well, I thought our biggest weakness was going to be hitting. And I told that to my son who was at the game. He goes, Dad, those guys look good at home plate. What are you talking about? I said, I know. We're have really improved from that first scrimmage, and we're doing a nice job at home plate.
And then, you're off to an undefeated start. The path's getting a little bit harder here coming up this week after today. You guys, big series with Cary early on, and then you get really into the heart of your Northern 10 schedule. Just what do you guys need to do as, the schedule gets tougher and you guys get ready, for the stretch run in the conference and the run, towards tournament time?
Well, kind of our mantra is we don't talk about this team, that team that much. Is just get better every day. Are we better this week than we were last week? And so far, that has actually happened. I've just seen the improvement. We have a lot of young kids, and they just keep growing and getting better. So that's kind of the main thing we're preaching, and that's what we've been doing so far.
Did you feel like heading into this season, Coach, that you had a roster and the talent level to be Northern 10 champions?
Well, because of what I thought would be our poor hitting, I'd have to say no. We have decent pitching with Hamilton, Eachus, and we had Ketterman, and then he decided to play track, but these freshmen are pitching, and then Micah Thomas coming back from the injury has done a nice job pitching. So, we'll see, but I think this pitching is going to put us in, contention there.
All right, Coach, I know that you got a game to get to, so give us a quick breakdown of what it is that you're about to do. What are some of your pre-game rituals that you and the squad make sure that you get in to ensure that you're going to have a great outing?
Well, we put a lot of emphasis on throwing and catching. I know that sounds like I'm a little league coach, but so many games are lost on bad throws and balls that should be caught. So we really I have the coaches out there, and usually I'm out there when we do the pregame throw instead of, making sure they're doing everything right. And so we throw, our stretching. A lot of times kids like to cheat on that, so we want to make sure, they're focused on, what's at hand. And I always tell them baseball is different than football, basketball, because it's a little bit looser, but you can't get too loose and you can't get too tight. So there's a fine line as a coach to have them ready. And like I said, they've really responded well on the mental side of the game. I'm really happy where we're at there. And this week, we really have a mental challenge. We have 5 games in a row.
Right.
So, and starting it out with hour 20 bus ride. So we'll see how good our mental toughness is going through this week.
Well, if there's anybody that can make sure that you're tiptoeing that line perfectly and make sure that they're not too loose but just the right, get that Goldilocks effect, it is you, Mr. Gorbett, Mr. 600. So really appreciate the time, and good luck today. Go 7-0. Why not?
All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks,
Have a good
guys.
night.
Thanks, Coach.
Good night. All right.
Take
See
care,
ya.
buddy.
Bye.
Man, what a guy and what a program, and just he really is. I'm not just saying this. I've been in quite a few dugouts in my day. Dan Gorbett, to me, is like the Tito Francona, where there's just always a perfect mixture of they're having fun, they're loose, they're playing baseball, but at the same time, you're there to do a damn job and make sure that you do it pretty well.
Yeah, and that's why he has 600 wins, because no matter where he goes, he gets the best out of his players. He was talking about pitching. His pitching squad in 6 games, 1.44 ERA.
Jeez.
Talked about that Clear Fork Galleon game, how they'd given up only 1 run. Well, this squad in 6 games has only given up 7 earned runs and only 1 unearned run. So defense is there, and 6 of those came in the opening game against Buckeye Central. So only 1 earned run over their past 5 games. Pitching gets you places. Now, this is going to be tough for them. 5 games this week because you have pitch counts and everything. You got to think Hamilton's going to pitch in one of the 2 carry games, and they're going to try and set him up to pitch 2 games later on. So you might have somebody else going today, but you really want to set up your pitching squad like that. But with the 1.44 ERA, I wouldn't be surprised if they have a very good record this week despite playing 5 games in a week.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And they got some freshmen out there pitching too. So that's impressive that he's able to get some 9th graders dialed in, doing some good things from the mound to try to overcome some of the inadequacies where they didn't think like they were going to be a very good hitting team. That's the beauty of baseball, I think, in a lot of ways, is that if you can find some strong pitching, you can overcome. Like the Galleon Tigers did earlier in the year. They were hitting 240 to start the campaign, but they got off to a 5-0 start and almost knocked off Clear Fork the other night to try to continue to be undefeated. So really cool to see what Gorbett's been able to do, resurging that Colonel Crawford club. And you were there for win number 600, Trav. What was the feel around that? Because that's quite a milestone, and I saw the kids got them doused pretty good.
So, yeah, I got down there, and first base coach, I was right there by first base. He came, this is for 600. I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, yeah, coach. And coach came up to us and said, this is probably for my 600th win. They're like, yeah, we did know that. It was loose and everything. I got the shot of him getting doused because one of the players went up to him I think it was Micah Thomas, went up to the first base coach in the 4th inning and said, we got to get him. I said, whoa. Get him on camera so we can keep that. I think we have that footage in there. I think it's Coach Gorbett B-roll or something. If you can pull that up, please, Adam. But they got him well. It's a family atmosphere. I think he actually had an extra pullover just because of that. They had the sign. We had a picture you can see on our socials. But it's a family atmosphere as well. It was so cool. Those players knew that they wanted to get him 600 that day, and they just let it all out there. I think was 14 runs on 13 hits. Hamilton pitched lights out against Delaware Christian, and it was just a cool day all around. His family was there. They got pictures. I think 2 of his sons were there. At least the third son might have been there as well. His wife was there. In the shout-outs, I asked him, since I made him MVP, he has to be MVP if he gets win number 600.
Right.
There he is, about to get doused right here. Didn't even know it was coming. Boom.
Oh, you can tell the look on his face.
And it wasn't even that warm at that point.
It was a waterproof. It was a waterproof pullover though, so he didn't get it that bad. But
he dressed for the occasion,
yeah,
at least.
He did. But it was so cool being down there for that moment. But yeah, his family was there. You knew it was going to happen, but it was cool. They all went to Cane's afterwards. I saw them as I was leaving, getting my dinner. But
I think it's Trevor Lawrence Waffle House, Cane's for the 600.
Yeah, probably
Well,
bumped into G and Storm down there.
I'm glad that we found out about it, because not too often do you get a chance to see anybody get win 100, 600. You know, Joe Baylog, you yourself got to cover 500, win number 500 for him, which is a monumental task in high school basketball in the state of Ohio. But to see somebody get their 600th win, that's something that we may never see again.
600's wild.
Yeah.
Something that Coach B didn't quite get to do. He was right on that doorstep, but couldn't kick it in. So
I got a lot of respect for Coach Baylog, just not coming back for another year just because he wanted to get it.
Right.
I think I have more respect for that than him maybe going another year just because he wanted to get it.
I miss Joe. I'm really sad basketball's over and we're not hanging out with him every week.
Well, I know maybe over the summer we do like a golf segment. Go 18.
That's a great idea. Because I know Coach B's a big golfer, so we do need to get him back in the mix here on the OH.Report. We can't ever have enough.
Hayden can run camera since he's not that good of a golfer.
Yeah. Thanks, Trout.
You can drive the golf cart.
Yeah.
People love doing that.
Yeah.
For real, who doesn't like to come out and just be into the chauffeur on the golf course? Cool stuff. Cool stuff.
But yeah, congratulations to Court. That's an awesome win for him, and good for the Eagles too, starting off 6-0, and one of those kind of pleasant surprises. You know, with his squad, they were going to be good, but the way they started, and even if it wasn't against the best competition, it just builds confidence for that offense that he thought wasn't going to be good. It doesn't matter who you see pitching. If you get a couple hits down there, you get the confidence, then you think you can hit anybody, and that's where things go well for you.
They'll find out this week.
Yes, they will.
If they're a real contender in the Northern 10, definitely tomorrow, and the next day when they take on the Cary Blue Devils, who I think are projected to be the top team in the conference.
Them and Winford, but Winford already got knocked off.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great league. Northern 10 just seems like they got it going on right now.
All around. Them, the KMAC, you know, we have some good conferences in this area.
Oh, hey.
There's Coach.
Just when we were starting to miss him.
Look in the background. Who is that in the background?
Oh,
Our boy G.
A pixelated parlet. Yeah,
Really
we got to
alliteration. Love it
that
there.
guy, too.
Yeah, him and Storm.
We'll get a whole big OH.Report golf outing together. We actually really should. Harder, Baylog, of course, Greg, the whole crew. I can't wait to see what Adam's golf swing looks like. That's going to be awesome. All right, let's go ahead and let's switch gears a little bit.
A team
now.
that's not golfing yet.
That's right, baby. Not fishing or golfing just yet, because for the first time since I think 1997, without LeBron James, the Cleveland Cavaliers back in the postseason. They are the number 4 seed. They're going to be playing at home in their series against the Knicks starting on Saturday. Hayden Gray, how excited are you just to hear these words, Cavs, playoffs, together?
I mean, you said. I mean, it is so exhilarating to hear. This team finding success again, and this time without LeBron James, kind of lifting that veil. There's mixed. Everyone's got different emotions about LeBron. I'm someone that still supports him, but you still can't help but have that kind of that curtain or that robe on that we couldn't do it without him, and now you can kind of take that off because this team's proven that. They're such a good group chemistry-wise, kind of like these other teams we've been talking about, like on Ontario and Colonel Crawford. You know, the team's got to have a good bond no matter the level, professional or high school. It doesn't matter. You can put a ton of superstars together, but if they don't get along, like look at how the Lakers were with Westbrook and LeBron. Yeah, Adam said the Mavs, Kyrie and Luka. You hear those two guys, you would think championship guaranteed. Not in this league, not in anymore. You got to still be able to play together and get along, and that's what this team excels in, man. So I think that it's going to be exciting. It's going to be nice to see that arena filled with people again because, I don't know, last year was kind of better anyway, but I feel like all the, COVID stuff's kind of gone now, and they can have
injuries too.
Right, you can have a full arena. So it's going to be really exciting, and I think they got a good depth of youth, but also guys that have played in meaningful games before. I think it'll be interesting to see how Danny Green gets used. He's been battling injury and still isn't 100% healthy, but he's the guy on our team that has the most experience. It was with 3 different teams, but he's been a champion 3 times, and you got guys with plenty of youth too. So I think it'll be exciting. It'll be tough. It won't be easy. We talked about because the Knicks own the regular season series, but I think that this team knows what's at stake. So I think it's beatable.
Yeah, Garland, Mobley, of course, they're going to be making their postseason debuts. Jarrett and LeVert, I think they've each only played in one playoff series and lost that. But Donovan Mitchell, that's the guy, of course, that you have to rely on when they get into the postseason. I believe he has the 7th best scoring average in the history of the playoffs in all of NBA history, almost 29 per game. Wow. So he's that dude, and he's been averaging that basically all year, getting the number 4 seed. Do you feel like they even overachieved? Because at the beginning of the year, they came out pretty hot. They've been right around that 4 spot the entire time. And I think there was conversation in December, January, where are the Cavs really? And they've been able to maintain. Do you think that they even did better than projected? Or is this kind of expected for you, Hayden?
I'd say, to be honest, I think that, we're ecstatic with anything. So putting that aside, I think this is honestly right around, based off their level of play in the second half of the season, I think this is right where they should be. I think they had the capability to be a lower seed. I think they could have been a 3 seed. I don't know about 2, but I think they could have moved up maybe one more spot. They had, some questionable games throughout the second half of the year where it's like, wow, all right, we're losing some games we shouldn't, and I think they knew that. But so I think the 4 is fitting, and those 4 or 5 matchups in the playoffs, obviously you want your team to just move on to the next round, but it provides for good basketball. So I think it'll be good to have a tougher opponent rather than a play-in seed or anything like that. This will test them early on, so I think it'll be helpful.
What's it going to take to avoid disappointment against the Knicks, Travis? Because this is a 4-5, too closely established franchises this season anyways. And as Hayden said, New York, they beat us during the regular season.
Julius Randle's going to get his. Everybody knows Julius Randle's going to get his points, but I think Donovan Mitchell can pretty much cancel him out. It's just, can you get those other role players and keep them from going off? And then for the Cavs, Mitchell, like I said, he's going to get his. Darius Garland, Mobley, they have to avoid the letdown in this series. If they can get, 15 points each, 15, 20 points. Then you have Jared Allen. Can he dominate inside? Can he get 10, 15 rebounds, a couple blocks, some 10 points in there?
Sure.
And then those role players, you got LeVert, Chetty, Danny Green, like he said, Okoro. If they can, go around their average 6 to 10 points, you have that balanced scoring to where they could possibly pull it off. I think the Cavs can win it in 6. That'd be pretty cool, clinching it at the Garden. But they can just play their game, not play like a bunch of rookies playing in their first full series or anything like that. But if they can just continue to play like they have been, because I'm looking at the stats right now, and all but like 6 guys on their total roster averages 5 points. So you can see that any given night, a role player can put up some big numbers for you. And we saw that when they benched Mitchell and Garland and Mobley for the last couple of games because they already locked up that 4 spot. It allowed some of those guys like Danny Green to get 15, 20 points, a couple other
I think he had like 30
or something
in one game.
Yeah.
He popped off.
So I think they have the roster to do it. It's just, can they continue to do it in the playoffs? Can they not, the bright lights, the national media, everything of being in the playoffs, if they can just continue to play like they did, I think they win it in 6 at least. Maybe 5 games, but I can't say there's going to be a sweep. If there's going to be a sweep, that's going to be amazing for the Cavs, and that'll give them confidence into the second round. But I think 5-6 games, that's doable, and I believe they can win a series.
I think they're the most interesting team in the Eastern Conference because we see how great they are at home, not so great on the road, and they've also proven that they're such a defensive juggernaut when they are playing together as a unit. When we have our full complement of 5 guys out there, depending on Okoro or LeVert, who that 5th guy is going to be, and they can slow down the game. So I definitely can picture them getting by the Knicks. Then it starts getting tough, of course, when you would have to play a team like Boston. So I'm really curious to see how things are going to shake out for the Cavs. The one thing I didn't love about them during the regular season is when it got down to clutch time or crunch time, whatever you want to call it, the last 2 minutes of the game, they're in the bottom half of the league in terms of field goal percentage and making big-time buckets. We saw Donovan Mitchell miss lots and lots of potential game winners or big-time shots that could have forced like an overtime. So he's great for 99% of the game, but when it gets down to the big moments, are they going to be able to produce the offense necessary or get the stop that they need to win a playoff series to move on? That's my only question, but I'm really fascinated by the potential of this team because they have everything that you want. They probably can go 10 deep. I don't know if they will play that many guys when they get into the postseason. Of course, matchups dictate all of that, but this is a squad that I think we could see on the precipice of making a run to the Eastern Conference Finals, and I could also not be all that surprised if the Knicks beat us in the opening round. So there's a lot to really think about with this Cavaliers roster.
You give them 55% odds or okay, so 5.5. Negative 5.5 odds in their opening game. So they're giving.
So they're a favorite at home.
So they're favored.
They'll be a favorite at home.
I was gonna say put that in.
And then the over/under, I think it would be, even if that's over/under 5.5 games for them to get the series. Would this go over/under 5.5? I think it.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it's a good number too.
When you said 6, I felt like 6 was kind of like a sweet spot. Like 5 would be in my head exceeding my expectations. 6 would be meeting, and then 7 would be below. We'd be happy if they win either way, but I think 6 is a sweet spot just because of those road games.
That's right.
And I think somehow if they can pull off a sweep.
Yeah,
not only would it give them a couple days rest before their next series, unless, well, you never know, Boston probably get a sweep too. But if they can get a sweep at momentum, then maybe you give them a bit of a shot. But I think this year, last year we wanted to see them compete for a playoff spot. They got to the play-in and then just, couldn't finish because of injuries. This year, if they can win a series, that just continues the build. Maybe in the draft, get another, piece of the puzzle, something.
We're not drafting for a long time.
I know, that's why I'm like, you're not going to get a good piece. You're not going to get a piece.
Absorbed all the young players.
You're not going to get a good piece, but maybe add just a role player or something in there as well, and then just next year is the year that you're really going to point to and be like, okay, we won a series last year. We got that confidence. Everybody's back. Let's go.
I think the Kevin Love move too. I think this is where he could provide some great value. He's an NBA Finals champion. He's played in so many playoff games. They started rocking and rolling without him on the floor, but I also thought that it would have been nice to keep him around.
I know.
Just
for
this.
But
sentimentally, it would have felt good.
I mean, the guys in the front office though know what they're doing.
How weird is it to see Kevin Love in the Miami Heat uniform? It just still doesn't feel right.
Yeah,
he's starting for them now too.
Yeah, I don't want him to become a journeyman, kind of like pictures of Shaq in a Cavs uniform and the Celtics, and I don't want that to become Kevin Love.
Amen.
He's playing in a playing game though.
Yeah, no, he can still make the playoffs.
All right, so you're taking the Cavs in 6. What's your guesstimation?
Well, it's rough because I know we kind of said maybe we shouldn't pick the same. I don't know. I guess I could say go confident and go 5, but I prefer 6.
If they can get if we're trying to
be
both
different,
at home, that's possible.
Yeah.
If they can win both at home, it's a good possibility. But
I would almost rather see them win in 6 than 5 because that would mean that you closed out a series on the road at the Mecca.
Yeah,
that's such a boost for this whole team. Yeah. Most of them playing in their first playoff series. You're not wrong. It's going to be really interesting to see. So drop us a comment. Let us know what your expectations are for Cleveland in the postseason. First time without LeBron since 1997-98. Been a long time. Mark Price was playing back then. You know what I mean? They weren't too far removed from Sean Kemp.
To LeBron
it's been a while.
Mitchell.
Whew. Mitchell is that dude.
Yep.
Hello, friends. The Masters. What a time.
It's the only way you can start this off with hello, friends.
So good. It really is. It's the only golf tournament for me, who I consider myself a golf fan, and I really do get enamored with the majors, that I just can't look away from the coverage. I think ESPN does such a phenomenal job of their leading up to where they almost do like the Manning cast, where they've got Scott Van Pelt just welcoming over, the famous celebrities that are out there watching, or they're the golfers coming off of the course. But I thought that it was a fascinating tournament to see it all play out. All the holes that they had to play, the additional holes on Saturday and then Sunday with the rainouts, and then just kind of how things transpired with Brooks Koepka being in the lead after a couple of days, and then he faltered down the stretch. Jon Rahm, who is now the world #1, he's been on a hot streak and continued that. So, Travis, let's open things up just give me your thoughts on your biggest takeaways from the weekend that was in Augusta, Georgia.
We make a good point first. The SVP coverage, it was Welcome to the Masters. It was before everything went on ESPN. One of his sideline reporters, you could say, just going around some of the humor in it, but he went to the concession stand, and Scott Van Pelt said, here's $20. What can you get me? The concession prices at the Masters are amazing.
Let me bring that up.
Sandwiches are $1.50. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I want to make a point on that. I was gonna talk about that because that's really like the only thing that I like sparked my interest about it. But I saw maybe the point to that is someone said, "You're darn right, it better be that cheap because the amount that you pay to get there is monumental."
I do that, but the same thing. You want to pay a ticket to the World Series in Cleveland, the prices for a hot dog still $6-7. Huh. So at least, that doesn't make.
I saw some portion sizes.
Plus,
so
do you know how much
up to my standard?
You know how much it costs to get a membership into?
Oh, right, yeah.
But first, you have to be invited to be a member of Augusta National. Then you got to pay like $10,000 a year, on top of like the $40,000 just to get in the first time.
What's it cost for a ticket to the Masters? Did you see?
I don't have the average off the top of my head, but I was just, someone kind of making that point, like, well, I sure hope they're that low. I know it's not the same universally. Like, if you go to the Super Bowl, beer's still got to be $25. I get that, but, someone was kind of saying, well, yeah,
$2 for a beer at the Masters. And what's really neat about it, if you guys don't know out there, is that you can't just buy a ticket. And matter of fact, if you put your ticket online, it automatically you're not void and you're not allowed to get in. You have to be put into a drawing and you have to be chosen out of a lottery just to be able to go. And my favorite part about the entire tournament is that you are not allowed to have cell phones on the course. Nope. And I heard a great interview with Carly Lloyd, the great Team USA soccer player and one of the best of all time, where she was asked about what's your thoughts about being out here, and she was just like, it's amazing how present everybody is. They're not thinking, hey, can I get a picture with Carly Lloyd? They just want to talk to me. They just want to watch the golfers. And I did not know that they didn't allow phones out there until this year, and then I found myself more watching the audience than I was the golfers at times, and everybody is. They're just dead set watching. They're not worried about if they can get it out on Insta real quick. Look, Tiger Woods just walked by me. It truly is the crown jewel of golf, and that's why I think everyone's so enamored with it. It's just there's so much tradition there. It's just the best.
They actually have phone banks where they have courtesy phones. There's lines of people just on the old rotary phones calling out like, hey, I just saw Tiger Woods. Really?
You see some 20-year-olds.
Well, I didn't have a picture.
No clue how to use it. Like,
tickets for Sunday, $1,000. A practice round, $700. So you're probably still going to pay $1,000 total for lodging and maybe a round one ticket. But then you go in there and you can get hammered for like $20.
That's right.
Just saying. I mean, and they have some good beverages and stuff too.
Hammered off of pimento cheese sandwiches is what I'm saying. Carb overload.
Yeah. Egg salad sandwiches, chicken sandwiches. They have ice cream and all that stuff. And the guy that was with SVP, he got 4 sandwiches, peanuts, another snack, an ice cream sandwich, and then a beer for $20.
Yeah.
Like you can eat the whole day for $20, which I just thought was awesome how they weren't pickpocketing you after, stealing pretty much all your money for a ticket. But anyway, into the golf now.
Oh, that's actual play.
We haven't even reached the golf.
Jon Rahm, I think it was destined. After that, he 4-putts the first hole, triple bogey, and then just goes off from there. But there were some things in the final round was Seve Ballesteros. He was the first Spaniard to win the Masters. He won his second Masters 40 years to the day before yesterday. So 40 years ago to the day was when Jon Rahm, he said he's a big historian too. He's a big Seve fan because he was a Spaniard as well. It was I think it was his birthday as well. Seve's birthday was yesterday. So he was using that a lot to his advantage. And just the way Jon Rahm played after that first hole was crazy. He was trailing for a good 3 rounds, and then in the 4th round, he just took off. But it was kind of like a fate thing for Jon Rahm, and it was a good story how he was able to come back and win his first ever green jacket. It was cool, the emotion on his face. But I know you were big on Brooks Koepka. holding on, but he just couldn't get it done in the fourth round.
And I thought it was really disappointing to see Brooks. He's back. He's healthy. He posted the first 2 days. Now, granted, he didn't have to play in the weather on the second day. That was a huge advantage for him, being one of the first tee times, and had a huge lead. I think 4 strokes going into round number 3. So as much as I appreciate Brooks being back and he tied for second in the tournament, I felt like it was a meltdown. A 75 for him was the worst of any player in the top 20 in the field, and I think it was the 3rd worst round of the day yesterday. So Brooks, who, if you got to see that great documentary that's out there on Netflix right now, The Full Swing, he's had some mental problems just in terms of being able to lock in and feel like he's still a top-level, top-flight player. So what is this going to do to impact him moving forward, the fact that he couldn't get it done in the final round? And I watched, quite a few of his strokes. He did not play well. He had to scramble still to shoot that 75. So that was a really interesting storyline to me, seeing Phil Mickelson do what he do. He shot like a 65 yesterday.
It was funny because I think, after the second round, he said, I'm about to go off, guys. He's like, I haven't been playing well in that LIV crap tour, whatever it is. And Brooks, he'll have a chance to get back in the live where you only play like 2 rounds or something like that and make a lot of money. But Phil Mickelson, he called it after he shot that 69. He shot 75 in the rain, but then 65.
It was awesome.
In the final round to shoot 8 under, finished tied for second. He was down. He was 1 under after 3. You're like, okay, maybe he gets a top 20, and then he just plays old lefty golf. That was pretty darn fun to see him do that, and that might, propel him further down here. But the big story I liked was Sam Bennett.
How could you not love that story?
Well, his father passed away, wrote that note that he wrote that he actually had tattooed on his arm. He said, just go for it now, and that's what he did. He was in the final group of round 3 with Brooks and Jon Rahm. If it wasn't for that weather, he dropped down to 4 under, and then, in the final round really didn't get a lot. But the way he was able to play, finished tied for 16th. If he would have finished, I think, 4 under, he would have been in the top 15. He would have been automatically invited back to the Masters next year. One of the best finishes, I think the second highest finish for an amateur in the last 20, 25 years. But just to see what he did was just
back-to-back 68s in his first 2 rounds.
8 under
Masters.
through 2 rounds. You're thinking maybe he's got a shot, but just the story and everything. You and I were talking during our meeting earlier, just how he said, his friends were like, oh yeah, what you want to be the top amateur? He said, well, heck, I'm here. I'm going to go for the jacket. And through 2 rounds, he was doing just that.
Second place.
And you got to think maybe if they play round 3 and you don't have the weather and you just play 1 round in the 4th round, maybe he does finish in a top 10 or have the highest finish ever for an amateur, which is, I think, tied for second. But to see what he did, and then in the meeting in the interview afterwards, as they gave the green jacket to John, they gave him his cup for being top amateur. I said, "What are you going to do next?" So he's like, "Well, the Texas A&M Invitational's tomorrow. I'm going to be carrying a golf bag and playing 36 holes. So I'm just going right back at it." That's just awesome.
That's a love for the game right there. And speaking of the weather and the poor conditions, I did think that it was kind of sad to see Tiger Woods on Saturday with the cold. I mean, he was really hobbling around like a 3-legged dog. Like he was in no condition to be playing professional golf. So it was neat to see him make the cut, but it also, I think it's almost looking into the future that this could be getting close to the end for Tiger, which is tough to think about.
Yeah, it's a complete 180 because you see Sam Bennett, maybe the future of the PGA coming up here, and then you have Tiger Woods in just that bad weather, trying to play 2 rounds, round and a half in a day, and
too much.
That video out on socials of him limping around, it hurts just to
really
see
does.
that because, him making, what was it, his 23rd straight cut, which
ties for a record.
Yeah, which tied Freddie Couples for the record, or was just, hey, that's great to see, but just, man, if Mother Nature didn't kind of screw things up for that, it would have been interesting to see how he golfed in weather like we're having right now.
No question. So the Masters, always a great tournament. I had a great time, and we know
you get good naps through it too.
Cheap snacks, expensive tickets. That's the message.
I mean, if you're gonna, I mean, as you should, it's a big event. You're gonna have an expensive ticket, but be like the Masters and don't charge an arm and a leg for a sandwich. They have the right game plan, I think, down there at Augusta.
I have signed up on the Masters website, and I'm going to be putting my name into the lottery this next year.
Why not?
Just to see. I don't know if I can afford to go if I win, but I would like to just see what that process
That's
is like.
the only day. That's the only weekend that non-members are even allowed on the grounds.
Right?
You have to be a member of Augusta National to be on the grounds any other time. That's the only time that the public's allowed in there as well.
And it's the only tournament or place that I'm aware of where they have a locker room for
The
winners,
champions locker room,
and
yeah.
then a locker room for everyone else.
Well, not only the amateurs also have. I don't know if you saw that on the SVP
Oh, you
coverage.
can stay up in the cabin.
The cabin, they have the amateur cabin where they stay there if you want to, and then that's where they gather as well. But it's so awesome. I would love to just walk the course or just walk the grounds, but I'm not allowed unless I want to pay. I want to get invited and pay $500,000.
It's not too late to go for that PGA Tour guard, Trav.
I don't think I'll be. I don't know if I'm good enough.
Maybe
for
it
that.
is.
Actually, there is one. Brett Montgomery, Upper Sandusky graduate, is playing pro golf now. He's not up towards that, but he's getting his name in there. So shout out to him too.
That's what's up. Yeah, happy to see Brett doing some big things. I talked to his mom Beth at a basketball game, and he said that, or she said that he is doing quite well and is looking to become pro. So
that'd be a great story right there.
All right, guys. Coming up this week on the OH.Report, we've got some awesome games. Of course, tomorrow, softball and baseball. Colonel Crawford versus Carey. Would you say that that's maybe the game that you're looking forward to the most this week, Hayden, or what is? You got a couple pretty good-looking matchups on paper.
Well, not Triway Ontario.
I know. I was gonna. It would probably honestly it would have been with that one, but Coach just informed us that that's canceled. So
unless we'll see who they pick up.
Yeah,
they want to pick somebody up. But.
That's true.
It is a bummer.
So yeah, I guess I'll give tomorrow the nod.
Yeah, give tomorrow the nod.
Who's Friday? Clear Fork?
Well, let's take a look.
Crestview at Clear Fork.
Clear Fork.
What are the Cougs doing?
Too.
Are they one loss or no losses so far?
And that's on baseball.
I know they're crushing it right now. I know Jake Furr's got them ranked as the best team in Richland County for baseball.
So that one's up there too.
Yeah, they have to be.
Pretty
because
good
Clear
game.
Fork has one loss. That would be the only reason they'd be up there. It'd be undefeated. I like that game tomorrow. Carey Crawford, I think, would be my most intriguing baseball matchup.
For sure.
But on the softball side, Perry, the D1 powerhouse, is coming to Jeromesville to take on Hillsdale. A big test, but I think for a confident squad, like I said, Hillsdale went up to Keystone and took it to extra innings before falling 3-2, and then they recovered to beat another D2 squad on a walk-off home run in Talmadge. So I think this team's bout. This is a great indicator. If Hillsdale wins or keeps it close, D3 team's going to have to look out, including Triway.
Oh, I think they've got an eye on those Lady Falcons. They're well aware of
both
the
those
prestige,
teams. Just
the culture.
2 wins in the Wendy's away from a championship matchup.
It's going to be fun. Yeah, and we're going to be there for all the coverage on the main
games
coming up in 2 weeks. So
I got to get my voice ready.
Yeah,
8 games in 3 days.
Ooh, mama. And then this week, one game that we didn't mention yet, Wednesday Night Live, East Knox at Northmore. You're going to be on that one too, Trav, so get your voice ready for that. That'll be the next one. Oh, no, actually, no, we got your show on Wednesday. Well, we're going to have a Bryce Coder on call for that one.
Hey, keep voting. Voting ends tomorrow night, 8 p.m. for the greatest hit. Who's the chart topper? We'll find out on Wednesday.
Live and free.
Well, yeah.
All right, guys. Last little fun nugget that I have for you. The last time that the Cavs were in the playoffs without LeBron, a gallon of gas cost you $1.17.
Oh, man.
I think it's a slightly inflated since then.
Yeah.
Just a bit. $2 at least.
So there we go. If they win again, we have to petition to bring it back down.
The summer of my 8th grade year, Hayden was barely even born.
Yeah. When is it?
Well, I think this number is from 99. I think it was the 97-98 season was the last time that they made it.
Hearing that price made me frozen. I can't even move. That's pretty crazy.
That's cool. All right, Trav.
Well,
last word?
Yeah, that just depresses me even more after doing my taxes yesterday, knowing the gas 15 years ago was like that. But hey, it's a great day outside. It's beautiful. I'm going outside. I'm going to Dairy Queen, I think. Get myself some ice cream.
Dairy Queen's right around the corner from my house. My boy's been asking for ice cream. We have a swear jar at the house that I have to put a quarter in every time I slip in front of my 7-year-old and I say something. He just said, "Don't worry about it, Dad. Just buy me some ice cream," and that's gonna work. But he's got a soccer match actually. I gotta get rolling. I gotta get over and watch some first grade soccer. So
best kind of soccer right there.
Hey, it's been real. Thanks for joining us and hanging out with us, and we'll see you right back here next Monday on the OH.Report video podcast. Deuces!
This is getting weird now.
Yeah, I'm out.
Matrix.